Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at KuCoin, see kind of what's going on, and obviously get an understanding of what happened yesterday, right? I did mention there's likelihood of a pump and dump, right? So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at that, kind of see what's going on, of course. And if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. So hope you can learn something here today. Taking a look here at the one-day chart, taking a look here, of course, we can see the price is still trending above the 50-day simple moving average. That's fantastic news on the one day. We like to see that. Excellent. So even though today's red candle so far, we're not in bad shape, right? We're still trending above that, and that's an important thing. That could trend closer to 46 cents here soon, and if the price continues to progress downwards and use that as a support level, it would be all well and good, right? Not the end of the world, but definitely something to acknowledge. So good stuff there. We are trending closer to 50 on the RSI, not great, but it's still in decent shape. We're still overall considered to be bullish on the one day, and that's probably the best place to be, right? Anything under 50 on the RSI on the one day is concerning. Staying above that is important. So as long as we stay over 50, that's just my personal opinion. I think we're going to be in much better shape. So again, still good on the macro, regardless of that red behavior. All right, now yesterday when we looked at this, we could see the 50-day simple moving average was working as a support level, pushing the price action up. In fact, it was right here, I think, right around this red candle just before that I reviewed this here yesterday. Now, I want you to know too that looking at KuCoin, when I mentioned that, it was looking good. That was this nice little pump, this little increase here from the news, right? Because we're going to see some crypto.com commercials on the Super Bowl, etc., the whole nine yards. It was all kind of the news, right, or the hype, right? And what that basically just means is, if you bought the hype, you might have taken some profits. Hopefully, you did at the top, which I asked, or recommended that you did, of course. Because again, if you look at this here, it's making lower highs, right? And obviously, we're now making lower lows. So ultimately, you can't consider Crow to be bullish on the midterm. It's basically transitioning from bullish to bearish, if you will. And we're starting to see this little progression down. Not a good sign, notoriously, like that, and especially being under the 50-day simple moving average, not good as well. But something I want to bring to your attention here, which is interesting. The Super Bowl started at, what was it? It was at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay, and this candlestick started at basically 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So if you can put two and two together and take a look, this candlestick is referred to as a dump, right? We have the nice little pump here prior to the event, and then of course the dump that occurred after. So anytime you have some kind of news related event where you hear something's going to take place, it's best to get in as early as possible. Then it's best to sell just prior to the event, because the fact that the likelihood of that event, even though you'd think that crow.com having a or just say a commercial for their website or whatever on a big major event like that, if that were to happen, you'd think that would push the price action up, right? Because people are wanting to invest into it. But it's the exact opposite. Those who are investing in it actually sell it and make the profit when people like you and I are left at a higher price point. Okay. So again, always take caution going into a scenario like that. When you see a price getting pushed up like this, kind of out of nowhere, it's best to take your profits before it comes down at any point in time during the news event, right? Which the news was potentially just, the advertisement on the actual event itself, which was the Super Bowl. So I hope I'm explaining that very well or correctly, because I know it seems strange at first, like you would expect the opposite. You'd expect the price to go up because, oh, it's a great event. Everyone knows about it now, but that's not the case, all right? So unfortunately, that is that little dump. So that's a pretty large candle too. So we had from top to bottom a 6.5% dump, if you will, when we had roughly about the same amount prior to that as an increase too. So that's what it's referred to as a pump and dump. So if you're part of that and experience that, I'm sorry, but that's just good learning experience so you understand moving forward. It's best to buy the news or the rumor and then, or sorry, I misspoke. To buy the rumor, right? The rumor that is going to be advertising, for example, and then to sell it prior to the actual event happening, which is the news. So buy the rumor, sell the news. That's the concept, and that's essentially what happened. This is a perfect example of that. Anyways, that being said, how's it going to recover from here? We want to know that, right? Is it going to recover? Well, let's look at some of the key indicators here. We're back under 50 on the RSI. Not a good sign, right? This helps us understand that this could be potential resistance now that is below. And what that is, that's synonymous likely with the resistance here at about 49 cents and or the 50-day simple moving average. So the price comes up to this price point here. You can expect probably a rejection to continue to push the price down further. And the reason why is because it's still making lower highs and lower lows in the 4-hour. Until it can make a higher high, in other words, until it can break the plane of 52 cents, then we're still going to be in this type of pattern. We might see some consolidation. It might stay stuck between 48 and 52, and that's fine. But until it actually breaks 52 cents, there's no reason to consider crypto.com back on track, right? That's just something I want to try to drive home for you. And on top of that, we're still stuck under 50 on the RSI, and we have this potential bearish divergence on the MACD, right? So the bulls have effectively taken or lost control, right? And the bears are in control. And at this point, the price tries to go any further, it continues to sell off and go lower, right? So again, nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging at this price point. Once again, 48 cents is definitely much better than 54 cents if you're considering buying the recent top. So just to keep that in mind, and there's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging. Just proceed with caution if you're going to take a shorter term trade, right? If you're not going to be holding on for dear life or investing in Crow, just basically buying now and selling in a few days, you might want to be careful and cautious and wait for the price to come down, perhaps even further. Because we can see there is somewhat of a support channel here, right? I mean, let's kind of talk about the obvious. The price has come down here many times. Once, twice, 3 times, right? So essentially, we've seen 3 days roughly of continuation to that price point, and it can't go below. So that's a good sign, right? That's synonymous with Bitcoin as well, though, in a lot of ways, right around 41,500. We've seen that tested multiple times as well. So again, I would recommend considering looking at Bitcoin and understanding what that one's doing first, because yes, we had this nice little pump and dump recently, but that doesn't mean anything. Outside of that, Crow.com has very much been very synonymous with Bitcoin. We need to recognize that. So I would recommend becoming familiar with Bitcoin more so than Crow at this point, because that's who's calling the shots. All right. That's why I cover it every single day. I can link it up above, or just go ahead and check that out. I just want you to be cautious here and careful. If Bitcoin loses bottom of 41.5 or 42,000, then we could very well see KuCoin lose 47 cents here, or 47.5 to be a little more specific. And then we'll see a digression, 46. And as I mentioned before yesterday, 43 is more likely the candidate for support because there's a lot less volume in the range here of 46 cents, right? So it could very well just skip 46 cents because, again, no volume, and it could just come straight down to right around 42 or 43. We could round up and say 44, right in that range. I think 44 is a more likely target at this point than 52 or higher. Again, just speaking the truth here, letting you know kind of what the data is telling us here, because we're under a key level resistance, and that's not ideal, right? Because the 50-day SMA is working as resistance now, so the likelihood of breaking above that right now is fairly low. We need a little bit more time for that to average out. And again, the simple moving average helps us understand that we've seen a lot of price action at this point for the last X amount of candlesticks. So truth be told, being under a resistance, so to speak, a moving average, is basically just telling us that the average price should be lower than where it's at. That's kind of what that's how it's viewed, if you will. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and we'll go to 1 hour, and I'll just go ahead and call it a day here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going in circles. I apologize, but I just like to kind of drive a few key points home. And look, we can see here, look at this. Start of the Super Bowl right here. That's the start of the Super Bowl, and that is the result of what happens in a pump and dump. Get you all excited, get you all hyped up for the game. While you're watching the game, they go ahead and take their profits, and you are left, whatever analogy you want to insert here, right? It sucks and it's stupid. I don't like it, but it happens. It's just the way it goes. So if you have to kind of get ahead of it, buy the rumor when you hear about the rumor, right? Buy early. And then, of course, sell just before the event happens. Whatever that event might be, that's usually, it's almost always a win-win. It's like an 80% likelihood you're going to be profitable if you exercise that type of approach. All right. Last thing we want to look at here is Ichimoku Cloud. Of course, we're going to be below it. Conversion line is below the baseline. Everything here is telling us we have a short position. We want to keep our short position open. Okay. There's consolidation at the support level here. It's really not looking great for KuCoin. The bottom could drop out at any moment. Again, not trying to concern you, but I think it's very, I think it would be amateur for you to consider the price is just going to increase from here. There's no reason for it. Unless Bitcoin really takes off in the next 24 to 48 hours, we shouldn't expect much from KuCoin. And big picture, if you are familiar with this or unfamiliar, we have a Fed meeting here today that's an emergency meeting, and that could very well cause the price to come down for Bitcoin. And what do you think KuCoin is going to do if Bitcoin drops in price? It's going to follow suit because it has every single time, minus yesterday when we had this BS event here that got everyone excited and it dropped to bottom. Okay. So again, just some things to be aware of. I like to help you survive this market. And these are things that are all like stupid little pitfalls we see happen all the time. And it's frustrating to me to see these things occur consistently. So the best thing to do is to prepare yourself and to be smart about it, right? And if you're going to invest in Crow, there's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging. Go ahead and put a little bit into it right now. Just do not put your entire bag into CuCoin right now and expect it to take off because it went independent from Bitcoin for a half a day. That's not good. That's not good sense. That's not good trading. Okay. So again, I hope you understand what I mean by that. And we'll go and take another look at CuCoin here soon, kind of see what's going on. But this was just a traditional pump and dump, and I'm sorry if you got caught in the crossfire. Comment below, let me know if, of course, you were able to survive these turn of events. Perhaps you enjoyed the game and didn't care anything about this because you weren't invested. But regardless, thanks again for joining me here. If you're not currently a member, CryptoCache.tech is the website. Check that out, of course. You can become a community member and obviously learn and grow as a better trader with my trading academy and the signals that I send here. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. See you in the next one.